Good afternoon, thank you all for coming. Detective Sergeant Dana Coston, C-O-S-T-O-N, Cape Coral Police Department Public Affairs Officer. Today, the Cape Coral Police Department arrested Casey M. Ortiz, O-R-T-I-Z, white male, 34 years of age, on a warrant charging 2 counts of unlawful sexual activity with a minor under Florida State Statute 794.05. Ortiz has been employed as a Cape Coral police officer since January 9th, 2006. This investigation began on February 2nd, 2014, when the parents of the victim contacted the Cape Coral Police Department to file a report alleging that their daughter, who was 16 at the time, had sexual activity with a police officer. And at the time, the identity of that police officer was unknown. This case was immediately assigned to a detective to thoroughly investigate. As with other cases of this nature, the Cape Coral Police Department worked closely with the Child Protection Team as well as the State Attorney's Office. The victim was interviewed at CPT on February 4th, 2014. Based on information gathered during the interview, Ortiz was identified as the officer involved. Subsequently, Ortiz was relieved of duty and has been relieved since that time. On February 11th, 2014, detectives executed a search warrant at the home of Ortiz here in Cape Coral. Ortiz, who was at the Cape Coral Police Department at that time, was also served with a body warrant here at the station. In addition, during the investigation, warrants were obtained for Ortiz's cell phone to corroborate details that were provided by the victim. On March 20th, 2014, Cape Coral police detectives completed their investigation and submitted a warrant request to the State Attorney's Office. On April 30th, 2014, the warrant was approved by Judge Maria Gonzalez, and at 11 a.m. today, Ortiz was contacted by detectives of the Cape Coral Police Department, and he came here to turn himself in to investigators. Later in the day, Ortiz was transported to Lee County Jail in apparent good health. Once the criminal case is concluded and has made its way through the court system, the Cape Coral Police Department will conduct an internal affairs investigation per policy and per state statute. Unfortunately, Chief Connolly was not able to be here this evening. However, he did provide me a statement that he asked for me to read to you. And that statement is as follows. As we report today that one of our own was arrested for breaking the law by victimizing a member of our community, I stress that these types of cases are rare and should not reflect negatively on the men and women who protect and serve our citizens on a daily basis. This investigation was initiated by the Cape Coral Police Department, and immediate action was taken to ensure Mr. Ortiz was removed from duty. The incident has been thoroughly and properly investigated, and Mr. Ortiz was placed under arrest. We will continue to work with the State Attorney's Office, the victim, and the victim's family to ensure justice is served and closure for all. And that is from Bart Connolly, Chief of Police at the Cape Coral Police Department. At this point, the case has now been turned over to the State Attorney's Office. To protect the sanctity of the criminal case and any potential future internal affairs investigations, the Cape Coral Police Department will have to refer any additional questions regarding additional information in this case to the State Attorney's Office. Stand ready for your questions now.
Could you describe the relationship between Mr. Ortiz and this 16-year-old, how they knew each other?
This was a situation in which the 16-year-old came into contact with Mr. Ortiz during a police call for service at their home several months ago. The alleged sexual activity occurred during unauthorized police ride-alongs that were initiated by Mr. Ortiz and the victim.
Do you know, in the sexual relationship, do you know, were there multiple occasions of this, or was this only one?
The investigation revealed that there were a total, according to the victim, a total of 3 of these unauthorized ride-alongs. However, it is alleged that only on 2 occasions was there any type of sexual contact.
Are there chances he's done this with another minor?
We have no information to indicate that that's the case.
Does he have a previous record of other situations in the past?
To my knowledge, no. There's nothing to indicate that there's a previous record here.
When will a report be available?
At the conclusion of this press briefing today, I'm going to be sending out a press packet. Inside of that press packet will be a copy of the arrest report, a copy of the department's policy and procedure regarding ride-alongs, a copy of this press release, and a copy of Officer Ortiz's personnel file.
Was he one of the 10 officers involved in claiming unearned educational credits that allowed him higher pay?
I believe so, but I would have to double-check that information.
What did he tell you about what went on? What did he tell you about what went on during those ride-alongs?
I wouldn't be able to get into any of the particulars. Again, anything that has to do with what was said during the course of the interview, that's going to be in the purview of the state attorney's office as to whether or not they want to release any of that information at this time.
And you did say he turned himself in?
Yes. Yes, he did.
What would you describe as an unauthorized ride-along versus what steps do you have to go through
Sure.
to make it authorized?
As the members of the media know, even when you come out to do a ride-along, we have you sign a waiver. And in the police department, we have a procedure for citizens who are interested in doing a ride-along, and that involves an abbreviated background check to make sure that we're not allowing persons with extensive criminal histories to come and ride in a police car. And it allows us to track who is in fact requesting to do a ride-along. And I believe off the top of my head that it's once every 6 months a person may do a ride-along with an officer, not any more than that.
So any citizen at all?
Any citizen can request to do a ride-along, yes. Whether or not they pass background is a different story.
Can you spell Casey?
Yes, it's C-A-S-E-Y. Last name is Ortiz, O-R-T-I-Z as in Zulu.
Did he have a middle initial?
M as in Mike.
Is it Mike though? Or?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Is there, do you recall any other similar situations like that within the department in the past few years or so? You remember the last time something like this happened?
There was an event that occurred about a decade ago here in the department that involved a former police explorer and an officer.
Okay.
Have there been any other past investigations involving Mr. Ortiz?
To my knowledge, there are no derogatories in his personnel file.
Do you know how long he knew the victim?
My understanding from the investigation is that this occurred over a period of several weeks from September of 2013 to November 8th, 2013, and we weren't notified until February.
And it was the family of the victim you guys found out?
Correct. Yeah, once the family of the victim became aware of this, they came forward to the police department.
Do they also live in Cape Coral?
To my knowledge, yes.
What state was this 16-year-old in? What state has she been in since reporting this?
How do you mean?
In other words,
Physical state, mental state, or
both. How is
actual
she doing?
location?
Yeah.
Again, all the knowledge that I have regarding her condition and state of mind is that she's been very cooperative with investigators and seems to be as well as one could expect.
Was it forced?
There's nothing to indicate at this time that there was any force involved in this.
So consensual?
Again, that's going to be something for the state attorney in the prosecution of the case.
You had mentioned that the parents had concerns with conversations through a cell phone. Do you know kind of what the content of those cell phone conversations was? Was it just inappropriate conversation?
I don't know what the specific content was. I do know that there was cell phone contact via text message or a text messaging app between Mr. Ortiz and the victim, but specific content I wouldn't be able to tell you.
What was his rank and what unit or department was he in within the Cape Coral Police Department?
He was a police officer, and he was assigned to the patrol division.
How long was he a police officer for?
Let's see, I have his date hired here. His date of hire was January 9th, 2006. That is his date of hire. I believe his actual date being sworn and actually being a sworn officer was approximately 6 months later. That'll be contained in the press packet you'll be receiving. Anything else?
As far as what happened in the car, do your vehicles have recording evidence?
According to the investigation, nothing actually transpired in the car. This would not have been inside the car. Our vehicles, some of them are equipped with recording devices that allow for recording of the back seat area of the car. Whether or not his vehicle is equipped with that, I'm not certain at this point, but it, in this particular case, would not have been material other than additional verification of her presence in the car.
So you said it did not happen in the car, but
Based on what I understand from the investigation, it did not happen in the car.
So allegedly, he would pick her up, she would go into his police car, they would go somewhere else within the city?
Correct.
Do we know that location?
We do, and again, part of the investigation, so we're letting that unfold.
But it was within the city?
Yes. Anything else? Okay.
I'm sorry, can you repeat his charges again?
2 counts of unlawful sexual activity, as the statute reads, unlawful sexual activity with a certain minor. And when you read Chapter 794, it gets very specific when you talk about the age of offender and the age of the victim. So you have to select which part of the statute under which you're charging based on those factors. But it is 794.05 is the statute under which he was charged.
Now, since there are 2 counts of this, and you said there were 3 unauthorized rides, why wouldn't there be 3?
Because according to the investigation and according to the alleged allegations, the sexual conduct only happened on 2 of the 3
Got it.
unauthorized ride-alongs. I appreciate your time for coming in. I will have your press packets to you within the hour. It will be in your email. It's going to be a zip file. Like I said, it contains all of those documents, including a copy of the news release here. The news release is currently, as of about 3 minutes from now, will be live on capecops.com, and the video of this will be posted to the website as well.
Do we have a copy of the arrest report?
Arrest report will be part of that.
Perfect.
Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.